Alright, part 4. It's hard to believe this is 40 minutes because the segments go so fast. What we were doing is we are starting a C-shaped, and it's warped. So it's because when you talk about caged, you're talking about a normal warped guitar. But guess what? We'll never get to the warp where the normal C is, and it's going to become a different caged. So from the second string, it's going to become an E. We'll never get to the warp where warp is on the C pattern. Okay, so watch it. Just trust me. So we start the C here. Here's the normal starting for the C. It's the 3 up here. You can't see it, right? C, the C-shaped pentatonic or diatonic cage shape always starts at the bottom string. The bass string is always the 3rd, which would be the E, but the C shape could be a C-shaped G, so the bottom string would be the B, because B is the 3rd of G. Here we go in C. The 3rd of C is E. We got C, we got E, G, A, C. Then we go to the S3S, which is 2, which is D, 3, 2 to 3, okay, which is the E. Now we go to the F is 4. All right, that's in the diatonic. We're moving up the C shape, but guess what? The C shape, I think we're going to have to get some of this. Okay, so we're on the 2nd string. Oh wow, we can't move this up unless we kind of bop down out of full screen. Now why can't we do that? I don't know. Okay, well here we are. I think we bopped down. So we're going to see why this, if we start this C caged on the 2nd string, why it becomes an E. And by the way, there is a pattern. It always becomes, no matter what string you started from. Say I start at A pentatonic scale. If I start it from the 3rd string, okay, it'll become a G. All right. If I started from the 4th string, it becomes a 4th up from that, which would be a C. And the only exception is if I started from the 5th string, anything going from a C goes the 3rd up. So the C always goes to E. I'm always looking for these patterns in the Christmas tree, okay? So these are all in 4ths except when you get to the C, it goes to an E. And that's kind of like what the tuning of the guitar is, isn't it? So if you look at the A, you got A, D, G, C, E, A. It's like an A-tuned guitar, you know. I haven't made the exact correlation. I tried to yesterday, and if it's possible for something to make too much sense, that makes too much sense. But it sounds good. You know, we are always finding these little tuning intervals of a 3rd here out of 5. And I think we think we know why, but it may not be exactly what you think it is. So let's try it one more time. Why does this C, if started on the 2nd string, go to an E? Okay, here's 2nd string. All right, the C is going to do an S2L. So here's our S2L. Then it's going to start an S3S. Okay, the C is going to start an S3S. So we did the S2L. It's going to start the S3S on the 2nd. The 2 is the purple. So you find, where's the purple? Okay, here's our S3S. Bump, bump, bump. Up, we hit the warp. We didn't get to do this perfect shaped S3S. We hit the warp. All right, now I just want to digress for a second and say when we do the S3S here with the C on the 1st string, the normal pentatonic C shape, we don't hit the warp on that string. Okay, we don't hit the warp till the next string. So we, you know, that is the C shape, but we hit the warp over here where the 5 and the 6 is. See, where the 5 and the 6 is. These are still unwarped, but People who know what the cage shapes are. This is for people who know what the cage shapes are. Cave. We warped it early. So if you've got this kind of shape where you've got an S2L there and then going to an S3S, and then you do one of these, bump, 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 bump. That is unique to an E shape. Okay, now let's look at it. And this rule says it's the shape of the first string. Okay, so let's look at the first string down here, or the first string up here. It's the same. We want bump, bump, and then to the 7R2. Because remember, we can't finish the whole pattern because we started on the second string. So there's the 7R2. Up here is the 7R2. The exact, that is the E. That is the E. My screen changer just changed. I thought we were out of time. We're not out of time. How much time we have? We have about 4 minutes. Okay, so that is the E shape. Okay, because let's look at E over here. E starts 7R2. Here's, it goes into, bump, bump, because the warp, it warps right here, it goes into the E shape. That's why the E is there. Okay, so I map them all out, and that's what happens. But the bottom line is the conclusions that can be drawn after doing all these on a piece of paper, okay, on a piece of paper, like this, okay, that is that chart. The conclusion, and I did all 35 of them. Conclusion, we're on the conclusion now of the 4 parts of the videos, is that starting from any full 6-string caged pentatonic or diatonic scale position, you build the next higher string caged 4th above, except when going from a C position. Okay, that's less important. What's more important is this as a conclusion. This is a de facto rendering of this chart, and that these are a 4th apart, except when you get to the C you're going to go to a 3rd if you're going to do the same pattern on the next string up. Okay, so that we're not there yet. That's for the next video. The conclusion right here is no matter what string you start a new cage pattern from, okay, no matter what string you start a new cage pattern from, the new pattern becomes the cage shape of the first string. That's the first or the last, you know. And we could do one more just quickly. Suppose we want to do a G shape and we want to start it from the 3rd string. G shape starts on the 6th. The 6th is the blue string. We find a blue on the 3rd string. Right here is a blue note. We're going to do the G shape. Okay, G shape goes 6 in pentatonic, goes 6 to root, and then goes 2 to 4, but now we have to warp, okay? So the 2 goes to 4. For the 5-6, we had to warp the 5-6. We warp into that pattern. Now, we don't have to sit and identify the pattern. Keep going. We're going to go to 7R2, all right? So guess what? We started on the blue note, right, which was down here. Now we're at 7R2. Does that look familiar? Yes, that's an E. And the G, when we start the E from the 3rd string, we actually are in an E pentatonic. Ta-da! That's it. That's it. So that's strange, you know, like you just feel like, you just feel like playing a G pentatonic or a G diatonic in the same key. Shaped. This is shaped, not a G, not a G, not starting on the G, but a G-shaped C pentatonic. It has to be in the same key. All right, you have to be working in the same key. G shape. We're always talking about shapes here. So when we say C here, we're not talking about this has to be C. This isn't C. Or look at A. You know, that's not starting on A. It's starting on the G. So you have to be in the key. It's a shape. Then you follow this rule, and it's just amazing how, you know. So you'll get used to charting it out.